It's another episode of Sports 101. Welcome along, everybody. And it's a new week. Today is 1st of September 2025. And we're excited about the new month. And it's International Break Week. More importantly, it is transfer deadline day. And so you can expect a lot of movements, a lot of stories making the rounds tonight. It ends at 7 p.m. in some jurisdictions, at 11 p.m. in some places, depending on your time zone, 6 p.m. in some areas. It's an interesting day today, one of the most interesting days on the football calendar. But again, we will be discussing, some of the fixtures over the weekend, post-match analysis. Let me run by you some of the results of the weekend. Barcelona, we know, lost drop point actually against Rayo Vallecano. They played out a 1-1 draw away from home. Manchester United left it late at home in a 3-2 win over Burnley. Yes, Fulham beat Chelsea actually beat Fulham in that game at Stamford Bridge. And interestingly, Liverpool were 1-0 winners over Arsenal. Very, very interesting game there. Brilliant free kick. Dominic Szoboszlai getting that win for Liverpool. Manchester City lost their second game in a row, this time around to Brighton and Hove Albion. And it's interesting to see how Coach Pep Guardiola would be moving on. The international break couldn't have come any better for Manchester City at this time. Inter Milan also lost at home to Udinese in the Italian Serie A. And they sport a lot of slips over the weekend. That's Inter for you. And over the weekend and even this morning, we've got quite a couple of managerial sackings across Europe. Erik ten Hag, the latest culprit, being fired just this morning by Bayer Leverkusen after just 2 games in the Bundesliga. Jose Mourinho was fired over the weekend by Fenerbahce after that game of not being able to make it into Europe. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, similarly, Besiktas have fired him. It's getting heated in the new season. And in the transfer window, Liverpool looks like they've got their man, Alexander Isak, as it seems like there has been an agreement with Newcastle United for the transfer of Alexander Isak to Liverpool from Newcastle United. Johan Weiser also from Brentford to Newcastle United, also looking very, very close. There's been stories about Man United looking in for a goalkeeper. Emiliano Martinez has been in the news. There's Samens, also from Royal Antwerp in Belgium, also on the radar. It looks like United have decided on their man, as it looks like Samens will be making that move to Manchester United, meaning that Emiliano Martinez might just not be making the move to Man United. Still on Aston Villa, Jadon Sancho looks like he'll be sealing a move, probably on loan from Man United to Aston Villa. It's a packed day in the transfer window, as today is transfer deadline day. Chelsea have their man, Alejandro Garnacho. Yes, to Chelsea. It's been settled. He's made that permanent move from Man United to Chelsea. There's Nicolas Jackson trying to force that move to Bayern Munich, as Delap suffered that injury over the weekend, and it looks like Chelsea want him back. There's been reports that Chelsea have recalled McGee to their camp, and so we're still looking to see whether Chelsea would sanction that move for Nicolas Jackson to Bayern Munich. So there's been so much happening in the transfer window, previous weekend results. And remember, it's Sports 101, so you can like our videos, subscribe, very, very important. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on TikTok, Facebook, and all social media platforms on Sports 101. Leave a comment. Let's know what you think about our submissions, about the transfer stories, about the trending issues on Sports 101. It'll be lovely to hear from you. And also, you should join the Fantasy Premier League, Sports 101 Fantasy Premier League. The code is on the screen. It's not too late to join. As of last week, interesting moves. The guys are moving really, really fast. Top of the league, Miracle Baby 24/7. He's on top of the Sports 101 FPL. There's a one-man FC closely behind. Jelson 5 also in there. Theodora FC somewhere in there. As for myself, I can't find myself on the first page, but miracles do happen. Kofi is here with me. He's somewhere in the same region as myself. So we sit here and do all the analysis, but we seem to be getting it wrong on FPL. So you can join the Fantasy Premier League Sports 101 FPL. The code is on the screen. It's an interesting time, and at the end of the season, 3,000 Ghana series up for grabs for the winner. So just enter the code and let's have some fun. Kofi is here with me. What's up, boss?
Charlie, everything cool. Everything cool.
How was your weekend?
It was amazing. I mean, coupled with that last minute Bruno Fernandes penalty kick.
I've never been nervous about the Bruno Fernandes penalty until that moment.
Well, yes. I mean, you would have to go through all of the emotions when it comes to, because for me, I felt it was a Waterloo moment for Amorim. All the bosses were at the stadium. If he had dropped points against Burnley, who knows what could have happened? You understand? So I felt that the nerves were almost tangible, and you could almost touch the nerves at the stadium. I mean, and so Bruno Fernandes, I mean, once again showing such a big personality he is. I mean, to execute that penalty kick and the technique with which he executed it, put it in the bottom corner. Goalkeeper had the direction but could not touch it. You understand? So I think it was critically, it could be that turning point for Ruben Amorim in his stay at Manchester United, because it was a game that was almost on the brink, and for me, it told you a lot of things about the feel of the manager and the rapport between the manager and the players in the dressing room. I saw the excitement with which Lenny Yoro threw his towel to the manager. It still tells you that the manager is being supported in the dressing room. You saw the players come to hug him. Zegzi came to hug him on the pitch. So good vibes for Manchester United. It makes me excited. It makes me want to come to the studio on a Monday morning. I'm excited.
But it's still not an improvement on what we saw in that game against Grimsby. United went ahead twice in that game, and Burnley equalized twice. It was a home game.
Well, I've told you that the thing about United is that they're still adapting. They are still adapting to what it takes to be a top elite team in the regard of the phrase. And I think that like I've always said, the best teams in the world, they go up by 2-0. They don't give you a dog's chance to come back. They close shop. They close the battens. When Jose Mourinho was in his pomp with all of the teams that he coached, when he scores one goal, you know that the game is as good as over. And I think that that's the sort of mentality that Manchester United needs to make. And I do not expect that it comes overnight. I expect that this is gradual. And so against Burnley, you score the first goal, you create numerous chances to kill the game. You do not score, Burnley comes back into the game. You score right after Burnley equalizes, and then they equalize again. You understand? So those are some of the adjustments that I think that United needs to be making going forward. But I am very convinced that United are moving on the right track. Yes, because I've seen some statistics that a lot of the pundits would not want to talk about. If you look at the most chances created in the APL in the first 3 games, United are top 4. If you look at the XG, United are top 2. If you look at teams which have hit the crossbar, United are in the top 3 category. You look at teams that have created the most chances, United are in the top 4. So it's only a matter of time before they start getting lethal up front. And if they get lethal up front, then you start having that winners mentality. I'm sure if they're able to make that stage, they should be good to go.
I agree. I think United are creating a lot more chances than we saw them create last season with the players that have come in. If the coach can get Benjamin Sesko up there in terms of his fitness level, in terms of adapting to the Premier League. I think we saw some glimpses of what he can bring, especially aerially,
exactly.
to that United side.
Exactly, and a lot of people do not know that Sesko did not play any games during the preseason, and so I think there's been a lot of questions about the fact that why do you buy a 70 million euro striker and you put him on the bench? I mean, but you know, sometimes from the benefit of hindsight, it's good that you have insider information as to why coaches take certain decisions. Obviously, if the guy has not even played, I'm hearing that the game against Grimsby was the first 90 minutes he had played in his preseason. So if you have a player who has not even had racked up this number of minutes in preseason, why sports science will tell you that you risk getting him injured if you rush his introduction to the play. So I think the Manchester United fans very impatient, always demanding results, always demanding answers. But I believe that the people who run the football club know what they are doing, and the coach and the technical team, they know exactly what they are doing. It's only a matter of time before the guy Sesko comes back to full fitness in terms of the number of minutes that he needs to accumulate to be able to be functioning at optimal level. Once he does do that, you realize that in the game against Burnley, like you said, there were some crosses that were put into the box. He showed aerially, if he's sharp physically, he could get some of the chances. And I think that it introduces another dimension to the game of United. And for me, the best days are ahead.
Similar with Joshua Zexi.
Yes.
Also a bit rusty. When he came on, we saw him lose possession a couple of times, but he grew into the game.
Yes.
You know, especially for that second goal for United, flicking that header, he grew into the game. And we also need to understand that he is also basically having his preseason.
Exactly the point.
And so these are some of the issues with United's front lines. But if United can get them firing on target, because the team is creating chances.
Yes.
And United can avoid conceding goals. I'm struggling to remember the last time United kept a clean sheet in a competitive match. Very difficult. This season, all 3 games United have played, actually 4 games. Is it 4 games United have played?
Yeah.
Considered in all the games.
One against Arsenal, considered I think 1 against Fulham, also considered 2 against Grimsby, and yesterday over the weekend. So United
so 6 goals in 4 games.
4 games.
So it's not impressive at all.
Not impressive, and the issue is that some of the goals that United have conceded are comical defending, and if they can be able to sort those other little details out defensively, it would very much help in the confidence going forward. Because the point is that if you have a team that strikers are confident that the defenders can keep shop, they can close shop defensively, then it gives them a lot more confidence going forward. But I am happy with the configuration of United now. I think that they have bought players who want to prove a point for the club, and it's always been the case with Manchester United. Manchester United has always been about giving the platform to players who want to play for the badge, who want to play for the club, who want to prove a point. And with the new acquisitions, I think that United are gradually finding their mojo back. I've always said that it's going to be a painful and slow process, but I can see the signs. Everything won't be smooth sailing, but I can see the signs. At least what showed over the weekend was that there is still unity in the dressing room. The players want to fight to prove a point. You realize that all of the raw emotions that were given out after the game, it showed you one thing: the desire to win. And for me, those are elements that you need for every great team to be picking up the pieces. And I am excited at the prospect of Manchester United now.
Well, at Stamford Bridge, it was Chelsea with a 2-0 win over Fulham. Goals from João Pedro and Enzo Fernandez. Are they title contenders? I've always maintained that this Chelsea side
they are not
title contenders.
They are not. Chelsea were lucky over the weekend.
They were not lucky.
They were
won by 2 goals to nil.
They were absolutely
referee decision.
Yes. And you see, the guy who was on VAR duties had to be dropped for the game against Liverpool against Arsenal because he got that decision of disallowing that Fulham goal wrong. You know, those are little moments that could swing the pendulum in favor of one team or the other. And I think that the EPL needs to get its horses right on point. They are becoming one too many.
Yeah.
Because if Fulham had gotten that goal, who knows? The complexion of the game
They
would have
actually would have
totally
gone ahead in the
exactly
game.
would have changed totally. You do not allow that legal goal to stand, and then all of a sudden Chelsea gets a goal, and all of a sudden Chelsea get another goal, and they are swinging to victory. But that is why the coach of Fulham was so paced on the touchline, because these little moments can change the whole dynamism of the game. Football has always been about the moment. If Fulham can come to Stamford Bridge, get a goal over there, deploy different tactics, and then get the result that they so deem right, then they can walk away knowing that they have put in the work, they have gotten the results. But some of these little refereeing decisions, VAR was supposed to make the game better. But once you have all of these calls coming up, it puts a lot of black spots on
You might say that
on
these
the
these
integrity of the
decisions
game.
evens itself out in the course of the season. Some decisions might go against Chelsea in the course of the season.
But I get the point you're making, but you see, you for Chelsea, the defense is that you can only hold brief for yourself. You understand? You are not in control of what it is that the referees want to take or otherwise. You can only play based on the decisions that they take. You understand? I mean, not to discount any conspiracy theories, but for Chelsea, they did their job. I mean, once the referee ruled out the goal, they did their job. Delap got out injured, got injured. João Pedro coming in again, getting another goal over there. Enzo getting a goal from the penalty spot. I think they went out, did a professional job. I told people they did not play well over the weekend, but the most important thing is that they get to rack up another 3 points. They get their confidence surging. People do not even realize that this Chelsea team is one of the youngest teams in the APL.
Yeah.
And they also have to go through the moment. You understand? They have to go through the levers. Yes, technically it is the youngest team in the APL in terms of the average age of the starting 11 and everything around the team. You understand? So I think that did their job professionally, got the 3 points. Fulham, yes, rightfully so, might be unimpressed with some of the decisions, but if you're Chelsea, what else can you do? Get 7 points from 3 games. You get another
They are
match.
second on the league log, and you still think that Chelsea are not in competition for the title.
Too early. And I repeat, they do not have the depth. They do not have the depth to
We'll get
fight
into the
for
transfer window, but you see, they are actually bringing, they are still making signings.
No, but the point is that they are introducing players who they did not want back into their fold. They have recalled that guy they sent to Sunderland.
Maggie.
Yes. And then
No, that's because of the injury to
exactly.
the
And then the famous Jackson is coming back. Jackson brothers, you understand? They are coming back.
They have Garnacho.
Oh, come on.
Top player, according to you.
Come on.
Now all of a sudden he's not a good player.
Come on.
Top player according to you. He was at United.
Top player with a stinking attitude. Absolutely stinking attitude. You do not need those ingredients if you want to be a top player. You know, the issue with Garnacho has never been about the talent. Garnacho is talented. Nobody can take it away from him. But you know, at a point, you need to acknowledge that there are limitations to your game. And then you need people to help you overcome those limitations. That is where great players are made. And for me, he's not been willing to apply himself in that painstaking process. That is the only issue I have with Alejandro Garnacho. But the talent is obviously there. I pray that he finds a better home in Chelsea. I want to see him succeed. You understand? Because I think that talents like Garnacho's cannot go to waste. So I pray that he finds a conducive environment in Chelsea and then succeeds at Chelsea.
Because, you know, I am thinking that he would not have a very good reception from the Man United fans. United are playing Chelsea on the 20th of September at Old Trafford.
Few days
It
after
would,
the international break,
yes, United play City first,
Yeah.
and then Chelsea.
Yeah.
So Amorim has his job cut out for him.
yeah.
But I think Garnacho would have a bad reception at Old Trafford. He hasn't conducted himself well.
Properly.
There was nothing like no departing statement to the fans. Even Rashford did, and the fans, when he made his announcement, he posted about going to Chelsea and Chelsea being the best club in the world and all of that. You just, make your relationship with the United fans worse. This is football, yes, it's a job, but there's also the relationship aspect of it.
Well, it draws back the whole conversation about who it is around him. I think that some of these things we need to realize that these are small boys. These are young players. I mean, Garnacho is a little over 20. You understand? I mean, he's a young player. You need calm heads around you. You need people who are wise in that regard of the word. I mean, around you, who can be able to give you sound advice. You understand? And I think that he's not conducted himself very well in terms of the relationships and the rapport he had with the fan base at Manchester United. These are things that you expect that players who have very, very competent people around them should be able to. You should be able to navigate this particular curve. I don't think he's causing unnecessary pressure, and for me, it doesn't bode well for the whole outlook of the player.
Because he is not the only one to find himself in that situation. There's Sancho.
Yeah.
There's Anthony.
Yeah.
And these guys, we haven't really heard so much from them. I think Sancho, yes, a little bit of the stubborn one, but they are paying attention to securing deals. They are not doing the whole social media thing and making a lot of noise about the relationship with themselves and then their club.
I get the point you're making. I think
even Tyrell Malacia,
Tyrell
made a move to the La Liga, and we didn't hear anything about it.
All of these. I am happy that all of these. I don't want to say rebels. I'm happy that all of these rebels have left. You understand? I mean, now Garnacho has left, Rashford has left, Anthony has left, Malacia has left. The only one available now is Sancho, and we are hearing from very credible sources that he might be an Aston player. Yes, Aston Villa player, albeit on loan. In the next few hours. I think that when you take away these elements of toxicity from the club, it goes a long way to want to help to reshape the culture that you so demand at the club. And for me, I think that's the first step. Like you said, I mean, football is a game of entertainment, and people need to realize that without football spectators, without fans, there are no players. Yes, we agree that the players are the major architects. But, stemming from all of these ancient games, when all of these Greek and Roman fighters went to fight in the Agora, you realize that these were made legends or heroes because of the fans that were at play. And in modern day, yes, footballers, they have these cult figures amongst us. You understand? They have the status as being cult figures amongst us. But you are who you are because of the fans.
Yeah.
And so the least you can do is to keep your dignity, regards whatever it is, that relationship that you have with the fans. Yes, you can move on from club, but you would have to keep the dignity. You would have to keep the relationship. You do not have to bend bridges.
Well, at Anfield, it was Liverpool getting 3 maximum points against the Gunners. Arsenal have been criticized by some top football pundits, Peter Schmeichel, leading that chase and talking about the kind of football Arsenal play, always trying to force set pieces. The Arsenal fans might not agree because they feel that that's part of the game. But Arsenal went to Anfield. Prior to that game, I talked about the fact that I think Arsenal have a very balanced side. Yes, they were without, the captain Odegaard from the start. Saka was out. They lost Saliba early on in that game. So, yes, they didn't have that core first 11, but they brought in some top talents as well. They brought in Madueke. They brought in the Eberichi Eze as well. They brought in Jokeres into the
And two
fold.
top
The
defenders,
Zubimendi there, Mosquera also. So Arsenal have cover in almost every part of the pitch. So that game, I don't know what exactly went wrong for Arsenal. I think it was a brilliantly taken free kick by Soboslai. Liverpool themselves were not so impressive in that game, but what matters is that you get a 3 maximum points. I thought Arsenal would go to Anfield, make a statement, because this is the team that has prevented you from winning the league. They did that last season. And so, if anything at all, you need to make a statement against the top team in the country. Arsenal couldn't get anything from that game. They left Anfield with nothing. Liverpool 3 points. But talk us through that game, the Arsenal system, and Mohamed Salah's performance so far this season. He looked lost in that game.
Well, I don't know why you are not telling the Arsenal fans. I don't know why you are not looking into their eyes in the camera and tell them that get Arteta fired. It could be 3 games into the season, but the problem with Arsenal is Arteta.
No, we know we already talked about this at the start of the season.
The point is simple. A team does not give you all of the confidence and trust that they want to repose in you, and then they give you over £1 billion to spend on players. And then you go to Anfield. Before the game, I was listening to Carl Jenkinson, the former right fullback of Arsenal. And he kept mentioning that the last time that they played at Anfield they played and won at Anfield was in 2012. And that at that time, Raheem Sterling was the one who was playing on the left hand of attack in the Liverpool attack, you understand? And then it had to be a big job to contain Raheem Sterling because he was on top of his powers then, you understand? Raheem Sterling in 2012. But the point is simple, like you said. When you want to win league titles, at a point, you need to go out there to stomping grounds and establish and throw down the gauntlet. You understand? You go there, you imprint what it is that you want to achieve on the ground.
Typical example, United lost the league to City in 2012 on goal difference. Went to Etihad the following season and beat them via a Robin Van Persie free kick.
Exactly. You beat them. You go against whatever it is that has become a voodoo result and then beat them.
Because those 3 points dropped could be that defining factor at the end of the season.
Let me tell you something. In the Liverpool dressing room yesterday, they will be telling themselves that the guy is not good. Arteta is not good. He is not a major competitor this season. Because he went there, you do not have all of these attacking talents at your disposal and then go there and run with your tails between your legs. That's what Arsenal did yesterday. And I think that Schmeichel couldn't have put it any better. The point is simple. Arsenal did not go to Anfield to win yesterday. And it's down to the manager. I do not know how many times it will take for Arsenal supporters to realize that Mikel Arteta is not him. He is not that manager who can take them over the line. He's not the manager who is tactically... Forgive our listeners who probably do not understand fancy. Wait, he did not complete his trade. He did not complete his vocation. You understand? I mean, because either they want funny snap and corner, they want funny machine. You understand? I mean, it's one of those things. So I have a big problem with Mikel Arteta.
Liverpool knew what Arsenal were going to throw at them, which was a barrage of set pieces. And you saw how many corner kicks Liverpool had? 1 or 2.
Exactly.
And they defended all the in-swingers from Arsenal.
No, you see, I have my problems with Slot. But yesterday's game showed that at least he's a manager who is willing to learn. You understand? Because he knew all of the tactics Arsenal would try to deploy at them. He contained Arsenal beautifully. And you see, he contained them playing a stand alone right back. Somebody who is not by default a right back,
Szoboszlai.
Szoboszlai. You understand? And then that guy goes on to get that winning free
Free
kick.
kick, yeah.
I think that so far that is quite a masterstroke from Slot. Yes, I have my own challenges with him as a coach. You understand? I have my own doubts with him, but at least he's proving that he's somebody who is learning quickly on the job. Because for being a manager of Liverpool, you are not going to be afforded all of the time to be able to learn on the job. But he's proving time without number that he's somebody who is willing to learn on the job and who is willing to make sure that whatever it takes to succeed at Liverpool is being done under his helm. Mohamed Salah, the guy officially is on retirement. He's on retirement, and you cannot blame him. He's taking £350,000 a week. After all he's done for Liverpool, after all the signings they've made, come on, I deserve a break.
He barely had a shot on goal.
I think that there's something
very
wrong.
Unusual.
Yes, you cannot write players like Salah off. But you remember that in one of our earlier series, I told you that the guy looks at the guys in the dressing room, and yes, he wants to tell himself that I think that now we have a plethora of match winners in our fold, and potentially with the adding of Isak to the fold, it tells you how many match winners Liverpool can have on a match day. 5, 6, thereabout. I mean, there's Salah himself, there's Ekitike, there's Isak, there's Szoboszlai, there is Capo, you understand? Occasionally there can be McAllister. When they are set pieces, there are the Van Dijks who come from the back. So there are a lot of them in there. You understand? So what it does is that I think that it makes Salah a bit more relaxed. What all of these dynamics do for the team is that it makes Salah a bit more relaxed. And for me, I think that it's a dangerous weapon for Liverpool because you do not know when Salah will wake up.
Yeah.
Even in his absence, even in his very slow start to the start of the Premier League, Liverpool have still not dropped any points in the running. You understand? So I think that it makes Liverpool a dangerous prospect.
Well, for Arsenal, as we've said earlier on, I still think that the biggest problem Arsenal have, or the weakest link for this Arsenal side, has to be Mikel Arteta. Because look, he has everything that he needs to be dominant in this league. And so if you have all the players, you have everything that you need, your board have given you all the money to spend, and we are still seeing such performances. Yes, you might say that it was Liverpool. It's a big game. You're going away from home. They won 2 out of 3, but that's how we start. Arsenal lost the league by 1 point to City.
Yeah.
So this is 3 points dropped.
Yeah.
When you are competing for the league title, every point is important, whether it's home or away.
Yeah.
You make sure that you go to enemy territory and at least get something from there.
That's what I was expecting. Go to Anfield, a ground you have not won in 13 years. Make a point.
That's a statement.
Everybody will take you serious.
Yeah.
Everybody has their doubts on Arsenal now. And the point is simple. And I think that even in the context of the conversation we are having, the bigger picture is that now Arsenal is an antithesis of everything that they used to stand for. Arsenal used to be that team that were like the mini Barcelona of the Premier League, playing aesthetic football, playing all the short passes, the beautiful football. Now you look at Arsenal and it's almost like they do not have any semblance in terms of style to whatever it is of the Arsenal of old. And for me, I think it's quite a problem, because if you're not going to win, at least keep the philosophy, keep the style. This is what has brought Arsenal into the limelight. Arsenal under Arsene Wenger, subsequently under all of the managers that they have appointed, kept to a style. But yes, you want to break that hoodoo. Arsenal have not won the league since 2003, 2004. You want to break that jinx. You do not break that jinx playing like a Conte team, playing like a prime Jose Mourinho team. Nah, you don't do that. You understand? So I do not know what exactly it is that Arteta wants to do with Arsenal. But whatever it is, I think that he needs a rethink. Or he will be fired this season.
Well, Liverpool have laid down the gauntlets. They are top of the Premier League. And we've had this conversation as to what team is the closest to Liverpool in terms of competing for the Premier League title. We've talked about Arsenal, we've talked about Chelsea, we've talked about Manchester City. That brings us to City. 3 games played, they've lost 2 games on the bounce.
Nobody's talking about them.
Are they title contenders?
They are not.
Which team exactly is a close competitor to Liverpool this season? I say Chelsea, but you say Chelsea is not title contender.
Well, I think Manchester United. Yeah. I don't know why you're laughing. I don't know why you're laughing. I don't know why the producers are laughing. But
United are not so far off. 4 points. They are ahead of City, yes, but
I think Manchester United.
Realistically.
Yeah, realistically.
Competing for the title.
Yes, realistically.
Ahead of who?
Ahead of everybody else in the chasing pack.
United are more title contenders than Arsenal and Chelsea.
Yes. They do. They have just 1 goal in place. Train all week, play 1 Premier League match every weekday, every match day. If you can't be title contenders doing that, what else can you do?
What's going on with Manchester City? Took the lead in that game against Brighton and had to lose.
Forgive me, but Pep Guardiola is done. He's done. He's not coming back. He's not. The magic is gone.
The medicine is finished.
The medicine is finished. The magic is gone. I've always said that Pep Guardiola has not found himself in this kind of territory before. Being with a team that has been successful, has probably outlived its lifespan, and then he needs to rebuild that team. He's not been in this position before, and so far he's handling it badly. Why do I say so? When they went to Brighton last season, the same thing that happened over the weekend happened last season. City scored the first goal, Brighton equalized and beat them.
Yeah.
Haaland gets the first goal over the weekend, Brighton equalizes and beat them.
And last season they didn't beat Brighton at Etihad.
No,
they played a 2-2 draw.
So the point is, from last season, Pep Guardiola did not learn anything. And the point is simple. The guy is not learning. He is stuck. Pep Guardiola, Odidinidino. He and it's because City is a small team. That is why they are tolerating Pep Guardiola. Any other big team, he would be fired. With the kind of run City have been on since last season, Pep Guardiola will not survive at any big team. It's because City is a big small team. He will not survive at Manchester United. He will not survive at Barcelona. He will not even survive at Chelsea. Any big team, he would have been fired by now. You understand? He won't survive at Real Madrid. Because, come on. We are not going to lose sight of the fact that the guy has spent over £400 million since January. And he cannot remedy the situation. What are you looking for? Imagine Pep Guardiola with no money. He can't even coach Burnley. Because with all of these plethora of world-class players at your disposal, if you cannot stop the rots happening at City now, I don't know why it is that you still have a job. If you want to extend City's run into last season, it's terrible, Sammy. You don't want to look at it.
So why should Amorim be kept at United with his terrible run? Very, very terrible run, by the way. And we are talking about Pep's run being terrible.
I don't know why you want to compare apples and peaches.
What's the difference?
This is one manager who has been at the club for almost a decade.
He's won multiple Premier League titles.
Yes, because they are a small team. A small
No,
team.
but apart from that, he's come to City and he's won titles.
So they are living in the past.
They're not living in the past.
What is happening?
When
in
was the last
present?
time they won a title? They won a
I
title
don't
just
remember the
about two
last.
seasons
I don't
ago.
remember the last time they won anything.
They won the title 2 seasons
I
ago.
don't remember. Do City
won the Champions League.
Do City look like a team that can win any title? They don't. They look lost. They look reckless. They look. And you see, the issue is that some of the signings that were supposed to elevate City to the next level, they are not even playing well. And that, for me, that's a bigger problem for City. I think City needs to look at this whole conundrum they find themselves in and how to get out of it quickly, because it doesn't look like Pep Guardiola has any clue what's at City. And for me, that is the more dangerous thing about whatever it is that City have confronting them now.
So nobody's really talking about them because they are not a big team.
They are not a big team.
United
United
win over the weekend.
yeah,
People still complain
yeah,
about the manner in which United won.
United have 4 points out of the 9 at the beginning of the season. Everybody says they are in crisis. You understand? City have 3 points out of 9. Nobody talks about them because they are not a big team.
Well, Tottenham also lost at home. Very interesting. They lost at home. But let's go to the Spanish La Liga.
Yeah.
Barcelona went away from home to Rayo Vallecano. They played out a 1-1 draw. A lot of people expected Barca to win that game, but the performance in itself was not good enough. They went ahead via, I think it was a penalty. A Lamine Yamal penalty.
That was never a penalty.
And Rayo had to come back, get the equalizer, and as it stands now, Real Madrid are top of the La Liga.
Well, I think that from the happenings of last season, Real Madrid are not going to get excited just by being on top of the league. I mean, because last season they opened up a gap on Barcelona, eventually lost the league because of their own capitulation. I think that Barcelona have been getting away with murder for a while. They have not been playing well. We talked about the game against Levante,
yes,
where they had to get that win over there, albeit with an own goal at the death, you understand, by the Levante player. I think that Barcelona have not been playing well. And key elements in their game are not on form. Rafinha is not on form. Lamand himself suspect. Daniel Olmo suspect. You understand?
Yeah.
You could count the number of players who had stinkers in that particular game against Vallecano yesterday. I think that a lot of the Barcelona players did not really come to the party. They did not play well. And my good friend Rashford,
he came on in the second half.
God, terrible. Terrible.
He probably needs time. Maybe he needs time to adapt to the Barcelona style.
Terrible. I don't want... This is probably a footnote, but I think that all of the observations that Amorim has made about those rebels at United is proving to be true. But I am happy for Real Vallecano. If anyone has watched them this season, you realize that this season they've not been pushovers. And I think that it predates even this season, last season. Playing very well, playing confident football. And, you know, there's something funny happening in the Spanish league. You know, the VAR was not working yesterday.
Yes, it wasn't working yesterday.
I don't know why it always has to be with Barcelona. When Barcelona plays, VAR don't come to work. Because if VAR was present, that penalty wouldn't have stood. But for some reasons, VAR was off duty yesterday. It was not working. And Barcelona had to go away with another piece of murder yesterday. But I think that the football gods were a bit more merciful yesterday. They let justice prevail. And for me, Barcelona got what they deserved. You understand? I don't think that they deserved anything more than a point yesterday. Vallecano actually deserved at least a point yesterday. They got what they deserved. And credits to Vallecano. I think that if teams are able to stand up against some of the best teams in the La Liga with all of the budgets, shoe budgets that they need, they are working on, then it makes the league a bit more competitive. You understand?
Yeah.
Very impressed with Real Madrid. Having to go down very early at home. Quick fire first half goals. get the job done. I keep referring to Xabi Alonso and Real Madrid. He's developing an elite mentality with a class of players at Real Madrid now. They have that siege mentality. When you go down by a goal, you quickly get your mojo back. You are able to get the equalizer. You're able to go ahead and then close shop. Close shop. I mean, yes. I mean, the opponents can huff and puff, but at the end of the day, get the 3 points and then do what you have to do. I think that Real Madrid in themselves are not playing at optimum level now. They are still trying to figure out a lot of things, but the good thing is that they have results going in their favor. And I think that it's good for the confidence of the team. It's good for the new young coach. Xabi Alonso is trying to find his form at Real Madrid. And for me, I think that so far it's been textbook perfect stuff for Real Madrid.
When the Italian Serie A, Napoli left it very late. Anguissa's late winner for Napoli. They look like they are serious about defending the Scudetto. Inter lost at home to Udinese. They lost at home to Udinese by 1-2. Yeah. And all of a sudden, they are behind on the league log. As it stands now, we've seen how Napoli set up. We've seen what Conte is doing with this team, that mentality, that winning mentality. I am looking at this team and I think that they might just defend the Italian Serie A.
Well, they look like prime candidates to defend it, but I'm not too sure. Like I kept saying last season, I'm not too sure about some of the elements at Napoli. I am happy with the recruitments they have made. Yes. Højlund coming in. Lukaku is injured, so it means that you'd have to get other bodies running in that position. I think that the one thing you cannot take away from a Conte team has to be the mentality. I looked at that game. A draw was written all over it. All over it. They get a corner kick in the last minute. Score from the corner kick. It tells you that they are a team that wants to keep going. And for me, it's good. I mean, because you lay down the marker. You want to tell everybody that we are not gone yet. We are the defending champions. We are here. It was a game where Kevin De Bruyne did not get the best of games. The MVP of the Serie A also did not. McTominay did not get the best of games. But they found a match winner somewhere. You understand? And if they are able to do that week in, week out, you deflate the egos of the opponent who seemingly are the chasing pack, and then you get to establish a new order. I was very surprised that Inter Milan had to lose in the manner they did over the weekend. Not really great news for them.
Juve have also started very well.
Yes, Juve have also started very well. Inter Milan, after starting the league very well with that 5-0 defeat of their opponents, I mean, coming back at home at the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium. Is it Giuseppe Meazza?
Giuseppe Meazza.
Yes, or San Siro if you're a Milan fan. Having come back to the home grounds and then lose in the manner that they did to Udinese, I think quite disappointing. Mm-hmm. But early days yet, I think that there will be twists and turns in the course of the whole season. We'll have to brace ourselves. I just want the Italian Serie A to be competitive. Once it's competitive, everybody goes home happy.
Well, guys, it is Sports 101, and we've discussed the Serie A, post-match analysis, the Premier League. We've talked about the Spanish La Liga. Let's know what you think about the results from the weekend. Let's know what you think about Liverpool, about Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, about Pep Guardiola. Can he guide this Manchester City side to compete for the Premier League title? They've lost 2 games in a row out of their first 3 games of the season. Let's know what you think in the comment section. Barcelona draw points at Rayo Vallecano, 1-1 in that game. Let's know what you think in the comment section. Subscribe, share the videos, comment. It's Sports 101 on YouTube and all other social media handles. Let's get into transfers as well as managerial sackings. It started very, very early in the season. Usually we get into September, October before we see the first sacking of the season, but Ole is gone. Mourinho is gone. Erik ten Hag is gone after first 3 games.
Great.
Team owners are not playing.
Bad news for Manchester United all over the place. 3 ex-United managers have been sacked in less than a week.
Yeah.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doing it in the Turkish league, Jose Mourinho doing it in the Turkish league, and my good friend Eric Ten Hag doing it in the Bundesliga. I think that for the three managers, Ole Besiktas has been coming.
Yeah.
It's been coming. And I think that it also stemmed from their inability to qualify for the European competition in the manner they did. Same with Jose Mourinho. But you see, the issue with Jose Mourinho, you want to empathize with the man because in Turkey, Galatasaray are no pushovers. Come on, you look at the signings that Galatasaray are making even now. I mean, just today, we've heard that they've agreed deals for Ederson.
Yeah.
You look at all of the players they're able to attract, and you would want to think that it would actually take a very special manager with Fenerbahce, who are their closest rivals in Turkey, to usurp them from anything domestic. You understand? So Jose Mourinho, you cannot blame him because Fenerbahce does not have the financial power that Galatasaray does have. You understand? And so you'd want to look at the dynamics. You'd want to look at the power play. I think that the man is a victim of circumstances. But like I've said, I think that Jose Mourinho has paid his dues to the game. At this point, if I were him or I were close to him, I would probably take a long sabbatical.
He's
probably
just 62.
never return to the game because I do not think that Jose Mourinho has anything to prove again. You understand? Only too bad that experiment had to end. You understand? But I would want to look at Eric Ten Hag. I think that's quite brutal.
Leverkusen haven't been fair to him.
They haven't.
Just 2 games.
They haven't. I mean, you do not sell all of your star players. Look,
But they've also bought.
But you would have to realize that if you sack all of the team, components of the team that brought you major success under Xabi Alonso, you'd need time to rebuild another project. You need time to look at another project getting back on its feet and functioning very efficiently. Look, you sold some of your best players. You sold Frimpong.
Yeah.
You sold
Ta.
You sold Vates. You sold Chaka, Granit Xhaka. Yes, to Sunderland. You sold all of these very important players. Yes, you've brought in players, but it will not happen overnight. And for me, I think that they have not been fair to Eric Ten Hag, but I also think that Eric Ten Hag has also not been fair to himself. Because if you look at the results that they've gotten over the 2 games, some of the decisions and the happenings, it only points to indecision on the part of the management. Exactly. On the part of the manager, in-game management. I mean, over the weekend, they were leading by 3-1, playing against a team that was down to 10 men. Eventually drew 3-3. People from above look at all of these circumstances and begin to wonder, are you really the right man? Because you should be able to manage a game from that position. You should be able to get a W on the board. You do not have to flicker with some of these results. And I think that probably there are also some decisions that have been taken behind the scenes that we are not privy to.
Yeah.
And so people don't just get up and sack a manager. I'm pretty sure there have been things that have
cost the club money.
Yes. I'm sure there have been things that have happened in the background that the normal layperson will not be privy to. But I've come to that point where I don't feel sorry for any manager when he's fired. Because, I mean, you know the rules before you even decide to engage.
It's a brutal job.
Yeah, it's a brutal job. And for somebody like Jose Mourinho, having to amass close to $100 million dollars or pounds from sack, so compensations due to sacking. The guy is working a rich man, even though he's been fired. You understand? So I don't have any sympathy necessarily for managers who are fired. I think that is the name of the game now. football is a serious business. Nobody would want their team to go down because it will cost you a lot of money to have your team go down. And so whatever it takes for the team to stay up, many people will do it. You understand? And so we feel sorry for them, but it's the nature of the game today.
And when certain teams know that these managers are available, then they start looking at their current managers in a certain way. If they also don't perform, they would now be, be thinking, should we make that decision now that we have a Mourinho available on the market? Should we give our current manager time, or should we just allow him go and then bring in a different manager? So every other coach, Amorim himself included, would be on guard as to the caliber of managers that are available. Yes, maybe Ten Hag will not return to United. Maybe Mourinho not. Maybe Ole not. But if you ask the United fans to pick one, I'm sure 90% of the United fans will go for Ole. Ole to be back at the wheel. But let's get into transfers. Today is transfer deadline day. We have just a couple of hours before, less than 12 hours before the end of the transfer window. Some teams are already making some solid transfers. And yes, some have been confirmed. As I mentioned earlier on Garnacho, we've talked about Isak, Liverpool and Newcastle agreeing a transfer fee. So Isak is getting his move. We've talked about Weiser also,
Weiser from Brentford to Newcastle.
Released a statement and talking about the fact that yes, there were written agreements about him moving. Why do clubs do that? Hold on to players even when there were either verbal or written agreements. I would always stand for written agreements. There's Garnacho who's completed his deal to Chelsea. We've talked about the goalkeeping situation at Man United. Samens is coming into the club. It looks like that deal has been completed, which means that Emiliano Martinez will probably not make that move to United. I would have preferred Martinez with all the experience. Maybe Lamine Samens could be loaned out. He's a young goalkeeper. United need a lot of physicality in that goalkeeping department. So if you bring him in, he's probably no different from a Bayindir, because he's coming from a less competitive league into the physicality of the Premier League. So again, it's a risk. He's a shot stopper. Yes, he's good with penalties, but is United doing the right business going for him rather than Emiliano Martinez? Nicolas Jackson as well. That deal with Bayern Munich, he has his hat on Bayern. Chelsea have stored that deal because of the injury to Delap. And so there's some other. Donnarumma also has been confirmed. So just give us a wrap up of some of these stories going out. What are we to expect by the close of the transfer window? Sancho in the news as well. Betis and United seem to have agreed a deal for Anthony. Do United still need that midfielder? Because United have made some money from transfers and add-ons and some of those things. Would that be enough for United to get a last-minute deal for a midfielder?
I was hearing the United representatives were at Stuttgart yesterday for that Stuttgart midfielder.
Yeah, his name escaped me. I identify him by his nose, but is that deal still on? It looks like it's on.
Yeah, well, I do not know, but it looks like one that we have to pay close attention to. At least United probably are listening to some of the things that people have said about Manchester United. They have moved to address the goalkeeping issue. It's confirmed that there's been an agreement between Royal Antwerp and Manchester United, 21 million euros.
Okay.
So that goalkeeper looks like coming in. I think that.
What quality does it bring to this United
side?
Well,
I've always seen him as a young David De Gea. You understand? For a goalkeeper, the first thing that you need is to be a commanding presence in the penalty box. And if you watch Onana and Bayindir, the issue with them has to be the lack of command over.
Isn't that why Dibu Martinez would have been the better
Well, I don't like him. I don't like him.
It's not about liking him. It's about his quality.
I think he's a taller version of Fabian Barthez. Takashi.
It's all about the confidence.
Yeah,
that's what matters at the moment.
But for me, I think that yes, as much as you'd want to look
more
for
experience,
the short gap approach or the wanting to show up that shortfall on in the interim or on the interim. I think that you also need to probably look at sealing that loophole in the longer term, and I think that's the goalkeeper from Royal Antwerp, solid goalkeeper. If you give him room to operate, he is somebody who can grow into a reliable number one for United in the longest possible term. You understand? So,
But as it stands now, it means that United will still have to do a deal for a goalkeeper leaving the club. I find it difficult to see United having 4 goalkeepers for this season. United are playing in just 2 competitions.
Well, I get it, but you read some of the echoes coming from inside the club. You tell you that Tom Heaton is somebody who virtually is untouchable because of the kind of experience that he brings to the dressing room. He's one of the voices that everybody wants to hear in the dressing
United
room.
boy as well.
Exactly. So he doesn't look like he's one who would probably move on. But I hope that United know what they are doing, and if there is the need to move one of them, I think that they need to move one of them. The truth of the matter is that after that calamitous performance by
Andrew
Onana against Grimsby, he should not be anywhere close.
So you rather have Bayender as the second goalkeeper?
Oh yes.
Onana will not play second fiddle.
Onana has had his chances. He's not taking them. I do not feel sorry if Onana is asked from being the number 1 goalkeeper at Manchester United, because he's had the chances. He's not taking them. And so for me, I do not have any issues with that. I mean, so United, maybe we probably need to look at 1 or 2 stories from the camp of United. But I think that they made very, very significant sales this summer, unlike United of the past. They've made very significant sales this summer. So I think that it's something that we need to be looking at. And then I look at Delap getting injured, Jackson eventually being recalled by Chelsea. Chelsea have not been fair to the young man. You understand? The coach makes it very clear that he's not part of my plans. You ask the guy to go look for a club. He's able to secure a loan deal with Bayern Munich, and then the lab gets injured, and then the guy has to come back. Well, all of this emotional, psychological trauma, you do not want to put any player through those emotions. And I think that it's one thing that I have not been fanciful about in the course of this whole drama between Jackson and Chelsea.
Isak to Liverpool, does it seal the deal for Liverpool?
Well, I think it's done.
They are winning the league again.
I don't think they will. They will win the league again.
You mentioned Arsenal are not title contenders. Chelsea are not title contenders. You don't see Pep and City winning the league. So it leaves us with Liverpool.
Oh, but Leicester won the league.
You mentioned United.
I mean, so maybe it's one of those years where you have somebody on fancy.
Already without Isak, we can see how well Liverpool are doing. Now you bring in Isak for a British transfer record fee, and we already know the quality that he possesses. He obviously makes this Liverpool side better.
When Isak comes in, if Isak does come in, which he is, what happens to Ekitike?
Ekitike will get playing time.
No. What happens?
Isak can also play out wide. He can play from the flanks.
So if Isak plays out from the flanks, what happens to Gakpo?
I think Liverpool are looking at squad depth, and they need as much quality as possible.
You are going to have unhappy lads in the dressing room.
That I agree, because you don't spend that amount of money on a player like Ekitike to put him on the bench.
Exactly. So it just tells you that some of the decisions that Liverpool made in the course of the summer were not well thought of. Because if you knew that you would get Isak, why would you spend
maybe they were
80 million euros on Ekitike? And then I don't want to talk about it. You understand? I mean, because when we do, we'll probably press a lot of emotion.
Where are Liverpool getting that money from? I know they haven't spent so much in recent seasons.
Crypto.
So they bought some.
They spent,
what do you call the coin?
They spent the Coutinho money on crypto.
So now it's matured.
Yeah,
they haven't really spend this big in the transfer
No, but the
market.
point is that
I don't think
Liverpool
they will
have
spend that
sold
much
very well this summer.
next season.
They've sold in excess of £200 million.
Who has left Liverpool?
Oh, they've sold Diaz.
Luis Diaz, yes.
Yeah, Diaz was over 60 million euros.
Bayern.
They've sold Kwanzaa for 35 million euros. The two of them over 100 million euros. You understand? And they've sold a lot of other young prospects. Liverpool, I'll get you the data. They've sold in excess of 200 million.
So they don't have issues
pounds.
with balancing
Exactly.
their books.
So I mean, virtually they've spent close to 300 million pounds. You understand?
Probably
Because
have
they've
spent more.
spent close to half a billion.
Because Vitz and Isak, we are talking almost 300.
Exactly. They spent close
And
to
then
I mean,
Ekitike comes in.
and
Kekes.
Kekes and then
Frimpong.
Frimpong. There are some other people. I mean, that goalkeeper that they had to buy. You understand? Liverpool have spent close to 500 million pounds, but they've sold well. So you are looking at around 300 million pounds if you want to do basic mathematics. So I think that it's something that
Probably a lot of these deals have payment plans. Some are
exactly
over a period of time.
I think that a lot of them have all of these payments plans in place, and Liverpool, Newcastle wanted to play hardball with Liverpool, so I think they're taking a bulk of the money up front. You understand, and then they'll pay the rest later. But Liverpool have spent well, planned well, spent well. They've been A-listers in the transfer markets this far, and for me, it's a good thing for them.
Jan Weiser is he is the one Newcastle are looking to replace
When
Isak.
they bought that Stuttgart striker, the tall striker from Stuttgart, well over 80 million euros.
What's his name again?
I've forgotten his name.
That-
Does not ring a bell, but they bought that striker from Stuttgart. Very expensive. 80.
So the Isak money obviously is going to.
It looks like they knew Isak was going to go at a point in time.
Yeah.
So it looks like they've spent the Isak money on Wisa and then that striker from Stuttgart.
Yeah.
So I think that Newcastle are finally getting the men that they want. And for me, it's a good thing.
But when we look at Manchester City, they've got the new goalkeeper, Gianluigi Donnarumma, coming in. James Trafford actually came into the side to be the new number one. All of a sudden, Donnarumma becomes available on the market. City go in for him. What does he bring to this Manchester City side?
Well, he brings a lot of experience. He brings that winning mentality. He's a goalkeeper who's won almost all of the top honors in world football, probably by the World Cup.
Yeah.
You understand? He was goalkeeper for Italy when they won the Euros. And he won everything on the club side, probably by the World Club Cup.
Yes, the name you're looking for is Nick Watermadi.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not good with names. I mean,
Yes.
but I know that they had to buy him big from Stuttgart.
Yes,
Yeah.
bought him big.
Over 80 million euros. You
Yes,
understand?
69 million pounds.
Yes. So Donnarumma comes in with a lot of experience. He is not Pep's kind of goalkeeper. He's not a ball-playing goalkeeper. You understand? I mean, he's as raw as it comes. But I think that everybody acknowledges that with Trafford, there are issues. He looks a very talented goalkeeper, but he's not prime for the role at City at this material time, especially if you look at the kind of performances that somebody like Ederson had to put across for most of the years that he spent at City. So Donnarumma comes in, he brings in a lot of experience. At least takes away Trafford from the firing range, gets to develop quietly in the background. In probably 2-3 years, he'll be a very good goalkeeper because the talent is there. He's a very good goalkeeper. Maybe a step too far for him to be in the limelight at this material time. So City have made the most logical point of business. And if Donnarumma is around, yes, Donnarumma comes with all of his shenanigans. He comes with all of the baggage that he comes along with in the dressing room. But that's one thing that you can trust Pep Guardiola to take care of. And so if he cannot manage tactics, at least he can control egos in the dressing room. So good move by City.
But quickly, as we wrap up, it's transfer deadline day. What transfers are you looking at happening? Are we going to see any surprises? We know Sancho, Aston Villa, yes. There are reports Barcelona probably are not done. They might actually lose one or two players to balance their books. What transfers are we looking at happening before the close of the transfer
Well,
window?
my prayer is that Sancho leaves Manchester United. That's my only prayer. If I had a wish today, the only wish would be that God, please take away Sancho. Whatever happens will happen.
Villa looks like his likely
God,
destination.
please take away Sancho.
That's all.
Yes.
Well, guys, let's know what you think in the comment section. Whether your team has done the right business, if they've done good business. Liverpool look like they've made some serious statements to compete for the Premier League and the Champions League, as well as the local competitions, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup. Chelsea got their man Garnacho. They've made some decent signings as well. Man United look like they're getting a new goalkeeper. Today being transfer deadline day, there's some interesting moves being rumored to happen just before the end of the transfer deadline day tonight. It's Sports 101. Let's know in the comment section. Let's know what you think about how the teams performed over the weekend as we look forward to the international break this coming weekend. Like, subscribe, and also join us on Fantasy Premier League at Sports 101. The code is on the screen. Let's have some fun on Fantasy Premier League. It's been another episode here with myself, Sammy. I did this with Kofi. Until another time,